Hey guys, Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana with our Explore the Card episode number 29. Today we are talking about the 1997 Stadium Club Hoop Screams card number 29. It is a pretty big time card. I like it. It's a super low pop card, which we're going to take a look at a little bit later. And I don't give investment advice very often, but this card seems undervalued to me. As always, I like to stay transparent. I do own a copy of the card. I've got my copy pulled up on your screen. There it is. It sits in my PWCC vault. It's the only copy of a Jordan Hoop Screams card that I have. I think I had a PSA 9 and I moved it maybe a few months ago or something like that. But this is my PSA 10, which we are taking a look at today. So hopefully this will be something new for you guys. This is one of those off the radar cards. I try to look at whales and minnows. So sometimes you'll see a PMG Red or an Essential Credentials or you know, a Jambalaya or a Scoring Kings PSA 10 or something like that on these Explore the Card episodes. But every once in a while, I like to sort of dumpster dive and get down into some of the lower valued Jordan inserts that are out there from the 90s, just to kind of let you guys know there's more there than, you know, the top 25 list. There are some really cool looking cards with some really cool themes and some great aesthetics and low pops for affordable prices. And this one definitely fits that bill. So as always, let's start by looking at the 1997 Stadium Club set. That is where you will find this particular insert. If we go look at the checklist, you can see there are 240 cards in this checklist. Obviously, the rookies from 1997 that you guys would be looking for if you were busting boxes or collecting are most likely Tim Duncan and Tracy McGrady, two all-time greats. One, the greatest power forward of all time. The other, a career that was cut a little bit short due to injuries, but two-time NBA scoring leader and cousin of Vince Carter. The other big rookies in the 1997 class are Chauncey Billups and Keith Van Horn, and Tim Thomas was probably the next best of those 1997 rookies. So not the deepest class in the world. Chauncey Billups a little overlooked in the hobby and probably a little bit better than the value of his cards would indicate. The Jordan base card in this set is card number 118. Let's see if I can pull that one up here so you guys can get a look at it. Actually, I've got it in Card Ladder. There it is. That's it. It's a big time card. Beautiful card. Picturing Jordan doing his double pump, probably off 2 feet, double pump. He's got the Concords on, wearing number 23 in his away red jersey. He is about to dunk the basketball, but this is the base card, and it is, interestingly enough, it's the only base card. I know I've done a few of these videos, and you guys have noticed that, you know, Skybox and Hoops and Upper Deck and Fleer in the past have really chased the dollar and, you know, sort of printed a prolific number of different base cards in each base set from the 90s, but Stadium Club stuck with one card. So from what I can tell, card number 118 is the only true base card in this set. The last PSA 10, as you can see on your screen here on Card Ladder, sold for $660, and that was in April, so about 3 months ago. It's only a pop 74, and look at this, only one has been added since January to the pop report. So again, are there a lot of them out there? I would presume there are, but they're not out there yet. So how many are at PSA? How many of them are still going to grade 10? I don't know. That's a great question. But right now there's only 74, and that is not a lot. The last one sold for $660. You can see card value. The Card Ladder value meter guess prediction says $606. So the Jordan market's down a little bit, especially on the lower end base stuff. But if you look at the last 2 years, this base card's up 241%, and it's been a pretty steady increase. Only until the last one did it actually go down. The card hit as high as $733, which is pretty dang high for a pretty run-of-the-mill product paper base card. So I think a lot of it has to do with the beautiful glossy photo. Just a really good looking base card, you know, not much else to say about that. There are only 14 inserts in the 1997 I say only, there are 14 insert sets in the 1990 Stadium Club. You can see them listed on your screen. The bigger ones are Hardcourt Heroics, which you guys are probably familiar with, which will definitely become a featured card on the Explore the Card, episodes that I put out in the future. You've got the Hoop Screams, which we're talking about today. You've got a Never Compromise. You've got Royal Court, and then you've got the most complicated of all of them, the Triumvirates. And there's three different Triumvirates on here. There's Triumvirate, Illuminator, Triumvirate, Luminescent. Don't ask me to explain that. I've got to educate myself before I do an Explore the Card episode on those. Those are confusing as all get out to me. So we'll figure that out and we'll get those going. But there are also 7 mail-in members-only sets, as you can see on your screen. So those are parallels or redemptions, mail-ins. And then there are 8 true parallel sets listed on your screen. So all kinds of stuff going on in this 1997 Stadium Club product. The first day issue is going to be pretty familiar to you guys. Members only 1 and 2. One of a kind is a big time card. And then you've got 4 printing plates in 4 different colors: black, cyan, magenta, and yellow. I've never really known what cyan was. Is that maybe like a light blue? I'm not really sure. Maybe somebody can comment and refresh my memory from, I'm not really the most artistic cat out there. So let me know what cyan is. I think it's blue. I'm not sure. The Hoop Scream insert set, which is what we're going to talk about today. Hoop Screams. It's 2 words and it is screams plural. So people are screaming more than once. There's more than one scream. Is a 10 card set. 6 of the 10 cards in the set are Hall of Famers. We always like to find the imposter. Usually there's one imposter in all of these insert sets. The biggest imposter on this one stands out like a sore thumb. It's Cedric Ceballos. Probably his most famous. He was a good little role player and for the Suns during their heyday, but really his probably most famous or claim to fame would be the blindfold dunk in the dunk contest, where maybe he was, maybe he wasn't blindfolded. We don't know. I mean, he clearly was blindfolded, but could he see or not see? We don't really know the answer to that. Sort of like the D Brown, cover your eyes, where he pumped up his shoes and hid his eyes in his arm. Do we really know if he was looking or not? Cedric Ceballos took it a step further, and he did it with an actual blindfold, but there are theories that he could see through the blindfold. I don't care either way. It wasn't that great of a dunk regardless. Anyway, Hoop Screams were inserted into Series 1 1997 Stadium Club Packs. Series 1 at a rate of 1 in 12. There are 10 cards in the set, which makes Jordan a 1 in 120 pack odds pull. Let us pull up what the people came to see. It is the 1997 Hoop Screams table. Okay, so this is a card. This is a table that I had to put together. This was not a card that's in the catalog on Card Ladder, so I had to kind of piece this together using the Card Ladder 2.0 sales history. If you look at your table, what stands out to me on this table that you guys are looking at is the PSA 10 pop is 24 and the BGS 9.5 is 43. Despite having significantly fewer graded. So that means 2 things to me. Number 1, the PSA 10 gem rate is significantly lower than the BGS 9.5 gem rate, 8% versus 34%. And then there's half as many, right? So there's half as many PSA 10s as there are BGS 9.5s. You're going to look on here and you're going to see $255 was the last sold price for a PSA 10. And that's going to look crazy low. It is crazy low, and there's a reason it's crazy low. The last PSA 10 that sold, fellas, was in 2020. So Card Ladder, I think, projects that this card today would be worth, let's see, let's click it right here. Here's the sale. Card Ladder predicts that card today would be worth about $613. Again, it's a low confidence meter because there's not been very many sales of this card in PSA 10 condition, but that's Card Ladder's best guess. So that's kind of where we are. Let's keep looking at this. What else stands out to me? This number right here, 0, stands out to me. No PSA 10s have sold in the last 6 months. No PSA 10s have sold in almost 2 full years. We're coming up on 24 months. We're about 22 months since the last PSA 10 sold, and like we said, it sold for $255. So it'll be interesting to see where the next one sells. The BGS 9.5, it's a pop 43, so you're not going to see a lot of sales of that. Only 2 BGS 9.5 sales in the last 6 months. It is an interesting, and I will put an asterisk on this. I'm filming this on, Wednesday, June 8th. You're going to watch this on Friday, June 10th, and by then another BGS 9.5 will have sold. As of right now, I think that BGS 9.5 is at like $196, which is already higher than the last one that sold just recently. So there will be 3 sales in the last 6 months, but as of right now, there's 2. I don't have any information on the increase in the pop because I don't have access to that in Card Ladder, and the percentage change in the last 6 months, I just kind of bailed on that because it's not super relevant because there's just not a large enough sample size, and I don't want to mislead anybody with those percentages one way or the other. The PSA 9 is not hard to find. There's 119 out of there. It kind of gives you an idea. There's 40% get graded PSA 9, which just kind of gives you an indication that, a lot of people may be taking a stab because it's only a 1 in 120 pack odds. That's not hard. That's not crazy. I know it sounds like a lot, but by Jordan 90 standards, it's really not. But the 8% gem rate is relatively minuscule. The 40% is more commensurate with, kind of that sweet spot. So if you send one in to PSA, it's more likely than not going to get a 9 if you think it looks like a 10. That's kind of the moral of the story. So. But anyway, 300 graded by PSA, 127, so less than half graded by BGS. So people are leaning PSA with this card, and that might have something to do with the fact that probably many people have submitted these recently because, back in the early 2000s, even late, near 2010, 2015, the card wasn't worth enough to justify grading, right? But now it is because a lot's changed over the last 5, 6, 7 years. There are no black labels. There are no BGS 10s, right? So all we have is the 24 PSA 10s and then 43 BGS 9.5s. There's no Holy Grail black labels, which would look great with this particular card, right? No question about it. Let's look at the back of the card and read like we always do. I've really never paid terribly close attention to the back of this card, but I love it. It's 2 pictures of Jordan. I think all of these cards kind of feature players screaming as they get near the goal to finish. And so Jordan's wearing his black 23 here, and it says Hoop Screams in script behind it. It's 2 words on the PSA label. It's 2 words on the PSA Pop Report. And it looks like they've smushed those words together behind Jordan's head there on the front of this screen, as you can see. But there's no space between the words, but it does look like it's a capital S. And so it's a little bit confusing whether it's 1 or 2 words. I'm going to go with 2 words because H is capitalized and S is capitalized. I'm going to ignore the fact that there's no space there. Same thing on the back. You can tell, right, by looking at that, right? But it says, call it will, soul, or emotional voodoo. Michael Jordan, like no other player in sport, elevates the play of his teammates to new levels. The Bulls respond to his emotion, may it be a scowl, scream, or smirk, with championship force. And Jordan's got so many legendary, iconic faces, from the shrug to the, intense way he talked to Pippen and some of his other teammates and things like that. So no question, Jordan had his share of hoop screams during the 90s. There's my little nerdy, corny quote for the episode. The members only PSA 10. There's a members only version of this card. The members only version of Hoop Screams in PSA 10 is a Pop 1. So that's a grail. And I don't know who has it. If you've got it, let me know in the comments. But that's a big time card. Any Jordan that's Pop 1 after 25 years really means something. So whoever has that members only Pop 1 is congratulations to that person. That is a very impressive card in your collection. There's a combined 67 gem out there, right? So if we combine the PSA 10 24 and the BGS 9.5 43, we get 67. There's 67 combined gem copies between the 2 big grading companies. So is it attainable? Yes, but it's under that magical 100 number. So 67 is not a lot. I think it should probably grow over the next few years, again, because of the relatively reasonable pack odd. This is not the hardest pull in the world, but, like we looked at on the table right here, PSA is not grading these super generously. So 8% gem rate, if 100 are submitted, 8 are going to be added to the Pop Report. So that's a pretty low gem rate. I wonder if the 34% BGS 9.5 gem rate would lead people to maybe consider sending these cards to BGS 9.5. Who knows? We shall see. What's on eBay? If you search 1997 Hoop Screams Jordan, you get 39 results. So again, like I said, not a super scarce card. You can find it. Here's the card I was telling you about. By the time you watch this video, it will have sold. So don't shoot the messenger. I don't know what it's going to sell for. It's going to skew the table. Yes, just take it into account and do some math on your own. I think what we said on that table is the last one sold for 168. The highest the BGS 9.5's ever sold is 224. This one could probably go over 224, to be quite honest with you. It looks like it's on that trajectory. There's 36 bidders. There's 8 hours left, and it's already at 196. There's a PSA 9 below it, some raw, some 8.5, some 7s, some whatever that is. I'm not even sure what that is. GMA, some raw. 8s, raw, 10s, whatever. You get the picture. Not a rare card. If you want it, go get it, right? If you want it in a gym, you're going to have to pay up a little bit. Again, I don't think for a Pop 43 BGS 9.5, that seems like a very big number. If you can snatch a BGS 9.5 for 200, as is available right now, let's look at the seller. Is it a decent seller? Yeah. So 1253, 100% feedback. The card's located here in Ohio and Cincinnati. That's not a bad move there. Let's look up the boxes. So I've searched 1990 Stadium Club box and I've sorted it by basketball. Remember, we're looking at Series 1 only. These first two don't apply. This one doesn't apply, Series 2. This is a Series 1 24-pack retail box, which makes me lead me to believe there may be a retail and a hobby. Again, I'm never an expert and I'm never going to give you any advice on retail versus hobby, but this one right here says 24-pack retail box and it's got that picture of Karl Malone on it. This one says the exact same thing, but it says hobby next to it. Those look exactly the same to me, at least on the cover. So be careful when you're buying them. I'm not an expert. I did run across this, which is really fascinating. This is a triumvirate illuminator, luminescence, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it. But it is it's uncut, and I did not think Beckett graded these things because I've tried to send a merged uncut fusion card to them and they refused to grade it. So maybe they changed their mind or something like that, or maybe there's something I don't know about. Next down here we got another box, we got another open box, then we got another box. These are all Series 2. So here's the box only. I don't know why anybody would want just the empty box, but that's it. So not, it's kind of slim pickings, not a terrible number to choose from there. That's what we see on eBay. So what do I own and what do I grade? I own the 10, which means I'm sitting and I'm fine, right? I've got one of the 24 that are out there. I'm very happy about it. I'm happy for the price that I paid for it. Would I like a members only in my collection? Yeah. Would I like the 10? Of course, but I wonder what price that would fetch. If another members only 10 does get added to the pop report, I'd be happy to look at it because I'd love to pair this together with the base. But that's probably just a dream. I'm not looking to buy, sell. I am looking to hold. So I've got what I want. Is the card low, mid, high, or grail? The card is low by any standards. All of the cards in all of the grades are well below $1,000, let alone $5,000. So these cards are considered low-end Jordan inserts from the 90s by most people. What are some cards like this card that in PSA 10 are about the same value? And I've used the value of 225. So you may be comparing this to the BGS 9.5, but I use the 225 because as we looked at on the sales history, the 225 was the last known, as you can see on the screen, the last known sales price of this card. Whoops, let's sort it by price. Let's sort it by date sold, and let's sort it by, I've got hardwood honors mixed in there. Sorry. You're just gonna have to trust me. We can go to our chart. That's right. I made the chart. So $255 was the last sale price in August of 2020. So I've compared it with 3 other cards that are about in that price range. The 1990 Skybox PSA 10 base card, which everybody's familiar with. The 2001 Topps Chrome PSA 10. And then the 1997 Topps Chrome PSA 10. If you look at these cards, they're pop 495, pop 113, and pop 1139. So for them to be at about the same price as this card sold for in August of 2020 is pretty silly because ours is a pop 24 that we're talking about today, the Hoop Screams. But again, Card Ladder projects that it's probably more like a $600 card. I'm really curious. I would like to know what the next PSA 10 would sell for, but it won't be mine setting that comp. So if you ask me what order I would prefer of those 4 cards, I would clearly prefer the pop 24 Hoop Screams first. I would prefer the 1997 Topps Chrome clearly next, even though it's pop 495. Next, I would prefer the 1990 Skybox, even though it's pop a zillion. I have this card and it's come way down from where it was, obviously. And then lastly, I would prefer this 2001 Wizards Topps Chrome base Jordan, which is also a really cool picture and a really cool card. And it's only a pop 113, so not a high pop card right there. And it's sort of found a home pretty steady right there. Over the last 2 years, it's up 70%, but I would prefer that card last. On the Cajun cardboard scale of Jordan card relevance, I give Hoop Screams a 5 out of 10. That's just kind of where I'm at. I don't think this is super high on any Jordan collector's list. It is, despite the fact that it is a low pop 24, we know the pack odds, we know what they are, we know it's 1 in 120, which is not the, the end of the world. It's something that can be had and can be obtained. And if you take enough shots at it, 8 out of 100 are going to come like a PSA 10. So it's a card that you can go get. It's just not super high on the list. I do like the name. I think Hoop Screams is really cool. I think it's a play on words with Hoop Dreams, which was an incredibly, and we just talked about it on a Pop Report episode with myself and Josh Adams at Midwest Vintage Cards. Go check out Pop Report episode number 6. We talk about the movie Hoop Dreams, and we both had it listed as our greatest basketball movie ever made. So that's something. If you want to comment on this episode, you can make a comment about whether you agree or disagree with me on that. That movie featuring William Gates and Arthur Agee and following their 4 years during their high school career. Hoop Dreams was life-changing for me. It was it's a movie I'll never forget. I've probably watched it 3 or 4 times in full length. So if you haven't seen Hoop Dreams, or if you're a young fella and you don't even know what it is, go find it on Netflix or Prime or whatever the free thing is that you guys can use nowadays. Go watch Hoop Dreams. Absolute must-watch movie. But Hoop Screams is probably a play on words off of Hoop Dreams. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. As always, I want to give credit to PWCC, Trading Card Database, Card Ladder. eBay is still here and there, serves its purpose as far as my collecting and my investing in this hobby, even though there's a lot of things that I think need to change and change quickly with eBay. But just give some credit to those guys. And basketballreference.com is always a nice site that I like to use as well. One thing I do want to say is I don't get paid by anybody. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't have any endorsements. I don't wear anybody's gear or anything like that, or have any special perks with anybody. So I have no affiliation with any of these companies. If I'm mentioning a company and I say that I like it, it's because I like it, period. Just the same way I can say I don't like this Topps Chrome Wizards card, but I do like this Hoop Screams card. And so I try to be as transparent as possible, despite some assertions to the contrary. If I like something, I will say I like it. And if I don't, I will say I don't. And that's that. So for those of you out there who have a problem with me, favorably speaking about PWCC, I do the same thing with players. I will speak usually pretty negatively about certain players, and I will speak positively about certain players. Sometimes it's because I own the cards, but in this case, it is not because I'm getting paid by any of these people. So, and if Golden came to me and wanted to pay me to work for them, I would almost assuredly tell them no. And the same thing about PWCC. I'm not doing this for money. I make money in other ways. I have a profession and a career, and so I like to produce content that's as objective as objective gets. Again, I shouldn't say objective because my opinions are very subjective, but they're not swayed by currency. So let's just leave it at that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I can't believe we're creeping up on that 1,000 subscriber mark. Hopefully by the time you guys watch this, I'll be at 1,000, onward and upward. My goal was to get to 1,000 in 1 calendar year, and we're there in less than 6 months. So things are going well. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content, and I'll keep producing it. Thanks for collecting. Thanks for watching. Keep collecting. Stay positive in the hobby, fellas and gals, and peace.